everyone, and welcome back to 27 Fox Place. If you're new to my channel, my name is Randy, and this week I've been busy getting the holiday lights hung on the outside of the house and trying to get the house clean so that I can finish decorating the tree. And as you'll see, it took me a few days to get everything done that I had planned. Of course, one of the first things I always do is make up the bed, and I keep the comforter folded at the foot of the bed through every season because there really isn't a better place to store it. And this time of year, the temperatures are usually much cooler, but the temperatures are dropping into the 40s at night, so it's time to change the way that I fold the comforter. So I'll pull it back halfway and then fold it over halfway again. That way it's out of the way if we don't need it, but on the nights that it gets too cold, it's easy to pull up.
They paint this town in colors, but they hold nothing next to you.
I washed the pillow shams I had on the bed yesterday so that I could switch them out for a different color. And I'm switching the pillow shams to help balance out the blue quilt and to give the bed just a bit of a different look.
Was wrapped in paper. No, I don't long for gifts of gold, but I'll be home for you. Oh, I'll be home for you.
I have some laundry that I hung up to dry yesterday that I need to put away this morning. And there's a few things that I need to fold, so I just want to get it out of the way before I get started downstairs.
Only you can pull me through. Nothing wrong with cheers and carols. Oh, nothing wrong with sleigh bells in the snow. But I'll be home for you.
I need to tidy up in the living room, and it's one of the things that doesn't get done before I go to bed, and it would be nice to come down to a tidy space in the morning. But once I sit down in the evening, I'm too tired to do anything else, and when I come downstairs in the morning, I curl up on the couch with my coffee anyway, and it's something that only takes a minute to do, so it just makes sense to wait until the morning. Today I need to wash the cover that I keep on the couch, and I have two covers that I switch out every week, so I can put one cover in the wash, and I have a clean cover that I can put back on the couch.
Let's go outside, the snow is falling down and
I have dishes in the dishwasher that I need to unload and put away, but I have some cleanup in the kitchen that I need to do first. And I wipe down the countertops whenever I use the kitchen to clear off any crumbs and spills, but I like to use granite cleaner on the countertops at least once a day, which is usually after the last meal so that the kitchen is nice and clean when I start the day. And the granite cleaner that I use is a concentrate, and I use a 20-ounce spray bottle to mix together 1 part cleaner and 16 parts water, and I use it to clean all the natural stone that we have in the house.
you. Let me give you a Christmas, a moment we'll fill with love and joy. So beautiful, kissing on a mistletoe, baby, with you. I don't need any presents, as long as I spend this day with you. So beautiful, kissing on a mistletoe.
The cooktop always seems to get dirty when I'm in the kitchen, even if I don't use it to cook, and I like to use the Wyman stainless steel spray instead of the wipes, because the wipes break down and leave little pieces behind, so I use the spray with a paper towel instead because I can use one paper towel to wipe down all the appliances in the kitchen. I don't use a microfiber cloth because the stainless steel cleaner will clog up the fibers on the microfiber cloth, and it's the fiber loops in the cloth that help pick up bacteria, so the cleaner would probably come out in the wash, but I don't want to risk causing permanent damage.
Go inside and drink our chocolate by the fire, 'cause all I want is to spend this day with you. Let me give you a Christmas, a moment we'll fill with love and joy. So beautiful, kissing on a mistletoe, baby, with you. I don't need any presents, as long as I spend this day with you. So beautiful, kissing on a mistletoe, baby, with you. Ooh, 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 ooh. And in a while we're gonna go inside and drink our chocolate by the fire, 'cause all I want is to spend this day with you. Let me give you a Christmas, a moment we'll fill with love and joy. Love and so beautiful, kissing on a mistletoe, baby, with you. I don't need any presents, as long as I spend this day with you. So beautiful, kissing on a mistletoe, baby, with you. Ooh, whoa, oh, oh, la da da da, oh, 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 la da da da, oh, oh, la da da da, making our Christmas memories. I've been working so much lately, I can barely find the time to sleep. Yeah, I spend my time running around, keeping people pleased. But this is my favorite holiday, it's a chance to start over new. 'Cause I missed you, so I'm letting go of everything but you. These are the good times with you. Baby, this year it's just gonna be you and me. Hang by the fire and chill. Isn't this how it's supposed to be? Making our Christmas memories. Oh, and I've been longing to...
We didn't host Thanksgiving this year, but I do cook a turkey dinner every year, even if we don't have anyone over for dinner. And I cooked a small turkey over the weekend so that we can have leftover turkey for the next week. And I need to wash the roasting pan so that I can get it put away. And I've had this apron forever, and I usually pull it out during the holidays so that I don't end up with grease splatters all over my clothes. I don't use it all the time because I don't have a convenient place to hang it up, but I finally found the perfect place. So I'm going to try and see if I can get into the habit of using it more often.
So you should come back home to me, and when we wake up in the morning.
This roaster is too big for the dishwasher, so I'm just going to wash it by hand and put it away. And I use Barkeeper's Friend on my pots and pans to keep them clean. I use the soft side of the sponge when I need to prevent scratches, and the abrasive side on the bottom of the pans where it really doesn't matter. But the Barkeeper's Friend is great for removing baked-on grease quickly and easily.
By the fire and chill. Isn't this how it's supposed to be? Making our Christmas memories. Oh, and I've been longing to hold you close. Forget about everyone else. Isn't this how it's supposed to be? Making our Christmas memories. Oh, oh, la da da da, oh, 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 la da da da, making our Christmas memories. Yes, these are the good times with you. Don't even care what we do if I spend it with you. Just you and nobody else. It's so good to see you again, to see you again. gonna be you and me. Hanging by the fire chill. Isn't this how it's supposed to be? Making our Christmas memories. Oh, yeah. I've been longing to hold you close. Forget about everyone else. Isn't this how it's supposed to be? Making our Christmas memories.
I'm writing Christmas postcards out by the pool. It's 70 degrees in the shade and the breeze is cool. Yeah. Even though we don't get snow, I still think it's the place to go.
I clean the kitchen shelves once a week, and the shelves in this window collect dust just like any other surface in the house. But because it's in the kitchen, grease mixes with the dust and makes it harder to remove with just a dry duster. So I'm using a damp microfiber cloth to clean the surface, and I'll use another cloth to buff it dry so that there's no water spots left behind. I started using microfiber cloths to clean the kitchen surfaces a few months ago, and so far I couldn't be happier. They save so much time because I don't have to switch back and forth between different cleaning products, and it's also cut down on the amount of cleaning products that I use, which helps save money.
If that's your thing, it's Christmas time in LA. If you go cruising downtown, it's a curtain of lights, and the tree at the Staples Center is the prettiest sight. Now who said Christmas must be white? I don't think Bing Crosby got that right. The weather outside doesn't get frightful, it just stays warm and delightful. It's Christmas time in LA. Don't you know I'm loving it? Christmas time in LA. Ooh, the pumping out snowflakes down at the Grove. If that's your thing, it's Christmas time in LA. Oh, happy holidays. It's Christmas time in LA. Don't you know?
No holiday meal would be complete without a pie, and of course I spilled the pie filling putting it into the oven. And my oven isn't too bad, but I'm going to clean it before it gets any worse. And I have a self-cleaning oven, and I have to remove the racks before I can start the cleaning process. And I've heard a lot of people say that they're afraid to use the self-cleaning feature because of the odor. And it doesn't smell like there's something burning in the oven, but it does have a noticeable odor. So I clean the oven on a day when it's cool enough to run the oven and still warm enough to open up the windows. It takes a few hours for the oven to clean, and then I have to wait a few hours for it to cool down before I can wipe away the ash that's left behind. But by the time it was all said and done, I completely forgot to wipe out the oven.
Christmas time in LA. Oh, wow. Christmas time in LA.
It's cold outside, keeps us warm. We can spend the night underneath the mistletoe. And I've gotten you a present that I put under the tree. Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for you and me. The snow is falling down and the storm is on its way. But as long as you're around, everything will be okay. 'Cause all I wanna do is spend this holiday with you. Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for me and you. I've longed for this moment to have you for myself in a cabin out in nowhere.
This window makes me crazy because it doesn't stay clean for more than 5 minutes, and I clean it at least once a week so that it doesn't get to the point where I can't see through the glass. So today I'm just using water to scrub off the nose prints, and to save some time I use a squeegee to wipe off the excess water.
Another year went by, but the difference this time is that ever since July, I've been happier than I have ever been. It's safe to say that my love for you is true. Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for me and you. I've longed for this moment to have you for myself in a cabin out in nowhere, just us and no one else. I've decorated everything to be perfect for this week. Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for you and me.
I found the perfect place to hang my apron, but I didn't want to put any permanent holes in the cabinet, so I decided to use a command hook, and I didn't use command hooks in the past because they weren't very attractive. But I found this silver hook that goes with the rest of the kitchen, and if I change my mind, I can always remove it without damaging the cabinet. And I liked having the hook here so much, I decided to add a few more hooks so that I could hang up the hand towels that I use at Christmas time.
Us and no one else. I've decorated everything to be perfect for this week. Tomorrow it is Christmas.
I never know how my tree is going to turn out. There are some years when everything turns out perfectly, and some years when I'm just happy to have everything up. And I honestly don't have any idea how to decorate a tree, but I do have a certain order, and I always start with the ribbon, and then I fill in the voids with ornaments. And I don't think I've ever put the ribbon on the tree in the same way twice, and I wrap the tree a different way every year because I really can't remember what I did the year before. And I use 3 different types of wire ribbon. And I just tuck the ribbon into the tree, and I use the wire on the branches of the tree to attach it and hold it in place. But floral wire is another good option to attach the ribbon. I just make a few loops in the ribbon wherever I want to make a bow, and I try not to fuss over it too much because otherwise I would be decorating into the new year.
I'm in denial that I am gonna be alright. But under the stars, I close my eyes and think of you. Although you're far away, we're under the same stars. Always, always. Lovely snow outside, miss the things we did. All the joy it brings to be with you. I've been longing, I've been so lonely, wishing you could hold me now. I've been trying, I'm in denial that I am gonna be alright. But under the stars, I close my eyes and think of you. Although you're far away, we're under the same stars. Always, always.
Once I get the ribbon on the tree, I'll add a few picks before I start adding the larger ornaments. And I divide the tree into 4 vertical sections, front, back, left, and right. And I divide the number of ornaments that I have by 4 so that I know how many ornaments I can put in each section. And I start by adding the ornaments at the top, and I work my way straight down the tree, and I try and spread them out as evenly as possible. I don't make a lot of changes to the tree, so it's pretty much the same every year, but I might add a few new ornaments to the tree if I come across something that I really like, but otherwise I don't make a lot of changes. Last year I had too many ornaments, so this year I used some of the older ornaments on the garland that I have on the banister. And because I did that, the tree seems to be a little bit sparse this year, but I also wasn't able to get all of the ornaments on the tree. I still have a few smaller ornaments that I'll add a little bit at a time over the next few days. Some years I manage to get up all the decorations, and other years I'm just lucky to get the tree up before Christmas Day. And I wanted to get all the decorations up this year so that I can decide if I need to make any changes for next year.
Here's about yesterday, my favorite holiday. It means so much more than words can say. And I claim that Christmas is a magic day. Sometimes I tend to forget what glory this holiday represents. But it's fair to say that Christmas is a magic day. This year I'll think about how I'm so lucky to have a place that I can come home to. Yes, I am on my way. We'll put our differences aside and just enjoy this moment of peace and love and
I've been dividing my time between decorating inside and trying to get the lights on the house outside. And my husband puts most of the lights on the house, but there's a few things that he needs my help with. So I had to pick up where I left off the day before, and I need to vacuum the upstairs and mop the floor downstairs. And it's been a while since I've given the stairs a thorough vacuuming. And I vacuum the stairs at least once a week, but I don't always vacuum the vertical parts of the stairs. And because we have carpet, the pet hair tends to stick to the front of the stairs.
sometimes I tend to forget what glory this holiday represents. But it's fair to say that Christmas is a magic Yes, every time the snow is
While I was vacuuming, I noticed that there were a few pine needles scattered at the bottom of the railings, so I had to grab the duster so that I could vacuum up the needles.
cares about yesterday. My favorite holiday. It means so much more than words can say. And I claim that Christmas is a magic day. Sometimes I tend to forget what glory this holiday represents. But it's fair to say that Christmas is a magic day.
A sunny day, but it's cold outside. It tingles in my heart. Breathing air that clears my mind. I'm off for a good start. I hear those jingle bells, people singing about love. It feels like I'm a kid, like I'm forever young. And that's why I wanna sing about the Christmas on its way. A reason to hang around and celebrate this day. Everyone's smiling and it's snowing. It's the time of year again. I'm happy you're here, my winter wonderland. I'm walking around making small talk with people people that pass me by. I share a laugh, it gives me joy that everyone's having a good time. I hear those jingle bells, people singing about love.
This socket has been driving me crazy forever, and I think I finally found a solution. I found this extension cord that covers the socket so that I can hide all the plugs under the tree skirt. And I'll add a link in the description box, but it's made such a big improvement that I'm going to add a few more to the rest of the house.
Celebrate this day, everyone's smiling and it's snowing. It's the time of year again. I'm happy you're here, my winter wonderland. No, it's the time of year, winter wonderland. My winter wonderland. It's the time of year, my winter wonderland, my winter wonderland. I wanna sing about the Christmas on its way, a reason to hang around and celebrate this day. Everyone's smiling and it's snowing. It's the time of year again. I'm happy you're here, my winter wonderland. Oh, my winter wonderland. Oh, my winter wonderland. Jingle bells ringing in my ear. Jingle bell a sound.
That's all for today. If you like this video, be sure and give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, be sure and hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications before you go. And thank you so much for watching, and happy holidays, everyone.
He climbs down the chimney at the speed of light while we're dancing around the Christmas tree, hugging and kissing just